In November of 2008, Bloomberg LP, the parent of this network, sued for the release of records from the government bailout to identify which financial firms would have collapsed if they hadn't received government help. So here with us, with an update on the details of what we can expect from all of this, is Bloomberg's managing editor of legal news, Pat Oster. Pat, thank you so much for coming in. We knew who received money. We didn't know who wouldn't have made it had they not. Tell me what we will learn when these documents are released. What's the detail here we're looking for?
Well, the detail will be on who got the money and how much money. So the Fed had tried to say, well, this is confidential information, and we don't want to give it up because it might be damaging to the banks. And the appeals court, after we won at the lower court level, agreed with us that there was no exemption. There's no reason why the Fed shouldn't give us the information. They said they have some good arguments, but look, if you like those arguments, go to Congress, have them change the law, but for now, you lose.
We want to know who got the $2 trillion here.
Right. There were a bunch of loans that were in April and May of 2008 that were made by the 12 Federal Reserve banks, discount loans, sort of overnight loans, and a number of others, and we wanted to know who got what and how much, and that's what the fight has been about.
Now, Bloomberg sued via the Freedom of Information Act to get this information. What does this do now? I mean, are you looking for real nuggets? I mean, something that's going to change how the street perceives some of these banks that did survive that are still doing business?
Yeah, it might be. I mean, it would obviously have been a lot more relevant, right at the time if you had said this bank needs X billion dollars in order to survive. The banks have done very well since then, so they might be able to say, well, okay, we needed some money then, but we're fine now. So we'll have to see what the numbers are and who's in the lead and who got how many billions and who needed the most, and we don't know that yet.
Now, this ruling is obviously in favor of Bloomberg's position, but is this done? Is this a closed matter, or can this be prohibited from being released?
Well, the Fed can ask the Supreme Court for a writ of certiorari, which is not an appeal by right.
Okay.
And, something like 5% of the time, the Supreme Court, if it thinks this is an important issue, will say, well, okay, we'll take it. But they might also say, no, it's not that important. It's pretty clear law that the Fed didn't have an exemption here, and the circuit was right in saying, if you want the law changed, go ask Congress to change it.
So when will the information be released, be turned over?
I don't think we know that yet. First of all, we have to see whether or not they will try to get a stay and put in this writ to the Supreme Court. And then, we'll obviously be asking for it. But it's not clear from this 19-page opinion. There's no date by which they have to do it. It just said you lose, and then it kind of gets worked out. It'll probably go back down to the lower court, and the district judge will then start talking about the specifics.
Neither the Fed nor the banks wanted this information to be released. They opposed Bloomberg's position on this.
Right.
So, I mean, do we have a sense of what the lobbying is like to have this go to the Supreme Court? I mean, how likely is this?
I would think that it's important enough for the Fed that there's a good chance that they will ask it, but we don't know. We've asked for comment from the Fed, and we'll see what they say. But I wouldn't want to speak for them.
All right. Well, thank you so much for bringing us this. We're going to obviously be tracking what we do learn if we do get this release. If it does head to the Supreme Court, it's of importance not only to journalism, but certainly to the financial industry and politics in this country. Thank you so much for giving us your perspective and the detail there.